Welcome back. Let's talk about substance abuse in Nigeria and the danger it portends for the country, for citizens, for the nation at large, and some of the efforts that have been put in place to ensure that this is reversed in that sense. I've been joined on the program by two gentlemen, the Director, Media and Advocacy of the NDLEA, Mr. Femi Babafemi. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Mr. Femi, thank you for coming on the program. Also right here in our Lagos studio, we have Tochukwu McFoy, convener, Energize First, popularly known as Dr. Foy. He's a speaker, author, and of course, he's also part of the Elevate Africa. He's a trained medical doctor. Don't get it twisted. Well, I was talking to him just a moment ago. He said, Arsenal lost. I said, we'll talk about it later. I'm sorry, Arsenal. Just another time. You lick your wounds like Barca did the other day. But let's talk about what we're talking about, what brought us here. Dr. Foy, let me start with the NDLEA Media and Advocacy Director, Mr. Babafemi. Mr. Babafemi, I saw a list of some of the efforts of the agency for about 5 years now, from convictions to some of the destructions you've done in terms of cannabis farms and all of that, rehabilitation. So when you look at the roll call, there's been a lot that has been done by the NDLEA. But at the end of the day, would you say that this is really moving the needle in that sense? Because I remember the Guardian newspaper had done a front pager showing Nigerians what the kind of danger we're in if we don't move fast. So let's start from there. Is the NDLEA doing enough despite what is done?
Thank you, Jeffrey. Good morning. Indeed, I'll tell you that we have been on the right trajectory. That is certain, because where we are now, definitely it's not where we were before, and there have been quite just as the statistics on your screen has shown that indeed we have really made a lot of efforts, both on the side of drug demand reduction. That is where we have prevention, where we have treatment, where we have rehabilitation and reintegration, or on the side of drug supply reduction, where we actually have the seizures, the arrest, the prosecution, the confiscation of assets of the drug traffickers and barons, all of those areas. And we are glad again that indeed the issue of substance abuse, the issue of the drug scourge is something on the front burner, is something we've been able to escalate to national discourse, where across the country today people are really getting interested, and that awareness, that level of awareness and sensitization is very high, which is very important. And we're bringing all the stakeholders together under our War Against Drug Abuse, WADA social advocacy initiative, to ensure that everyone is well mobilized enough to be able to own and take part in this whole effort, because our strategy definitely is a whole of society approach, where we get everybody on board to do what we need to do. Because just like it's been said, there is a UN projection that in Africa, and when we talk of Africa, you know, you're talking about largely Nigeria and others, but then where we have a projection about 40% rise in drug abuse prevalence, whereas across the world it's about 11%. So see that so we all have to run this race to ensure that that projection does not come to fruition, and that's exactly what we are doing at the agency, to ensure that whether in the area of drug supply reduction, in the area of drug demand reduction, we do all that we need to do. And we're glad that we're getting the support of all the stakeholders, starting from the biggest support from the president, that President Bola Tinubu himself, the National Assembly, the judiciary, the civil society, the non-governmental organizations, and everybody. We're getting this support because we know that we can't do it all alone. We need to get everybody, so that each and everyone can do what they need to do in their own sphere of influence, especially starting from the family unit, which is the smaller units of the society, and where this problem usually starts from. And so if we have to get a solution, if we have to overcome this, we also have to get that started from that unit. And so we're glad that this is happening. I mean, given the volume of seizures, arrests, over 62,000 arrests in the last 51 months, that's over 62,000 arrests, and seizures, over 10.3 million kilograms of assorted illicit substances. And when you talk of really deterrence, we're getting more than 11,000 offenders convicted, all of this. And when you also talk of bringing support to those that are really plagued or afflicted by this ailment, that we're talking of over 24,000 persons taking through treatment and rehabilitation centers to ensure that they live their normal life again. So all of these are great efforts just to ensure that we overcome this challenge. We're not yet there, certainly, when you look at the issues. And that's exactly what led again to bringing the wives of all the governors across the country together just 2 days ago in Abuja here to mobilize them so that whatever we're doing at the national level is cascaded down, well owned by the state, and also down to the grassroots, the communities, the local government level, so that this is not just something that is being done at the national level alone, but want to see the same action, the same initiative being taken care of and penetrating down to the grassroots, so that at the end of the day, nobody will be left out, and ultimately will be able to. Yes, please.
Yeah. Let's bring it to the Lagos studio and expand the conversation. Dr. Foy, as we look at that data, my producer will put it up again. So it clearly shows that there's an industry out there. You work closely with young people, families, and all of that. I wonder what you see. The NDLEA has spoken, but what do you see when you think about substance abuse in Nigeria? How worried should we be in that sense? I remember in 2010 when the World Cup was being held, I was at one of the fan parks at the TBS, and at halftime, normally artists will come and perform, upcoming artists, not established artists. So I was close to the people that were emceeing then, and I saw the backstage was like a chimney of young people. These Nigerian parents, they've not blown, but they are gone in that sense. So walk us through what you know.
I'll tell you that there are many categories and shifting stories at once. So as a creative, for example, creatives use it to escape. Youth, unemployment, most times they say when a rich person takes drugs, he's exploring. When a poor person takes drugs, he's lost. But we have lost youths because there's no job, so they must escape. And that's the truth. With the categories of drugs, some use it as dependence because people need it for stimulation, to pull out creativity. Some people don't even think it's wrong in some drug categories, for real. In some other climates, some of these drugs are even legalized, if we are to speak freely. But I think the reason why it's key for me is because I'm both a medical doctor and a creative lead. So I see the end goal of what's happening. And the end goal is neural apathy, neural brokenness. People are not living to their full capacity. That's number one. Number two, I'm scared for the younger ones coming. Not the Gen Z, the Gen Alpha. Because if you check a music video right now, all their celebrities have a red pop in their hand. If I know, even in the songs, there's a lot of, it's becoming cultural. And it's not a Nigerian thing. Thankfully, I love what NDLEA is doing, but the youths live beyond, they live on TikTok. I even hear there are drug houses on TikTok, and you can purchase your drug, purchase your gummy bear, and so it is deeper than we think. But I think that when people understand that the end goal is horrible, the end goal is broken minds and broken neural pathways, the end goal is loss of productivity, then we can. So what you said is very key. Family has to step in. I respect NDLEA, they're doing a good job, but family, parents have to step in. Number two, we must have convos in not religious concept, but the church is a big deal in Nigeria, or the mosques. We have to start having real conversations, not pretentious, not Friday and only Sundays, Friday for a mosque. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, how do you escape? What do you do? How do you think? Why are you on drugs? Why? Then there's a huge one of relapse. Having a relapse doesn't mean you're an addict. These are things we must educate our youth with.
I'm going to follow up on that, Dr. Foy, because there are so many layers to some of the things that you have said. But let me come to the PR of the agency, for a quick follow-up. Yes, indeed, you're reporting progress, and that's pleasant to note, because if you look at the figure that you have provided for us for the first quarter of 2025, 4,803 arrests as against what was achieved in about 3 years, 2021 to 2024, that's over 57,000, then indeed that is progress. But it's not too soon it's not time to celebrate because of the danger, the concern of insecurity that we have on our hands, either it's Plateau State, Northeast, or the Middle Belt. So my question to you is, Mr. Babafemi, some say that the agency merely carries out a show of force in areas to deter or to check drug trafficking, but doesn't particularly have intelligence, because there's been a strong correlation between insecurity and substance abuse. So the question is the agency working with intelligence rather than a mere show of force in areas, in states of the Federation?
Thank you very much, Bukola, for that question. Awesome. I'll tell you that indeed the new NDLEA of today, in all our operations, we're 100% intelligence-led. And there's one quick way to confirm that. You imagine people coming from far and near through our port, the seaport or the airport or even the land borders, how the agency is able to intercept most of those things they are coming in with, or those that are trying to go out. I'll tell you, for instance, let's look at a situation that's where the largest cocaine seizure in the history of this country was made in Ikorodu, Lagos in 2022. That was, an international operation that not only involves the NDLEA, but we work very closely with our counterparts in the U.S., that's the Drug Enforcement Administration in the U.S. on that case. Those are instances where you see intelligence playing 100% role. All of these, all the interceptions you see, they are not guesswork. Absolutely. Absolutely, they are all intelligence-led. They are all based on homing. They are all based on technological interceptions and all of those things. So definitely, we don't just go out without information, without processed information. That's why we have good working relationship with all our partners in Nigeria, whether you talk of customs, police, immigration, the military, civil defense, NAFDAC, everybody. We are all aboard. We are all in synergy with all of these people, and more importantly, with our international partners, because we know that this is a global menace, this is a global challenge, and so we have to work with everybody, especially where, the source countries, that's where some of these things come from, whether you talk of the border force in the UK, the national crime agencies in the, agency in the UK, the INL, that's the International Narcotics and Law Enforcement of the State Department in the US, the Drug Enforcement Administration, that's USDA, like I said before, the JAMAS. Yes, please.
We're talking about, the domestic concern. Has your intelligence gathering led you to intercept drugs or supply chains to terror cells in bandit areas in the Northeast, Northwest, North Central?
Absolutely, exactly the same thing I'm saying, that indeed for instance, just this last weekend, we intercepted over 942 explosives going to Zamfara in Kaduna there. That particular consignment emanated from Nasarawa, going through Kaduna to Zamfara, and we were able to intercept that on the way. So that's exactly what I'm saying. Indeed, there is a very strong nexus between the problem of substance abuse, illicit drug trafficking, and the security challenges, and that's why one of the items, Resolution 7 of the communique issued by the Governors Spouses Forum just on Tuesday, the item 7 there, stated clearly the importance, the significance of the fight against substance abuse are to the actualization of the renewed hope agenda of the present administration, and that's exactly what we're saying. That indeed, again, the hotel, shown on the screen there, that operation again, where you have an hotel, everybody, you assume, you believe that an hotel is a place for relaxation, a place of accommodation, and then that is being used as a cover to warehouse and distribute illicit substances. Again, we wouldn't have broken in there without intelligence. So all of these show that indeed the agency work with intelligence, and we don't just go on the way. And again, when you see our operatives on the highways, on patrol, or even mountain checkpoints, you see out of 100 vehicles moving on that road, we pull aside some of them, and we make interceptions, some in the wheel of the vehicle, some in the edges of the vehicle, some in other, in first compartments of those vehicles. All of those show indeed we're not seers or magicians. We indeed work with intelligence to be able to discover some of these things, in addition to the fact that we have well-trained officers who are professionals in their own code, and that's exactly all of these, we are very much concerned, and we're very much aware of the fact that if we're able to take the drug issue out of the security challenge, the equation, or the drug equation from the security challenge, would have most likely solved 50% of the problem. And that's why we're mobilizing everybody to give all the necessary, all the needed support to the agency, to all activities, to get involved in their sphere of influence, so that we'll be able to get this equation out of the problem. And then
But the challenge remains.
Yes, please.
The security challenge remains. So we're hoping for more progress. There's more to follow up on as far as the agency's approach is concerned, but I'll come to you again if time permits. Let me come to the studio now. Dr. Foy, you've said quite a lot about the motivation for creatives to indulge. And I'm wondering why education makes no difference, because if it is among youths, maybe in the northern part of the country or in the hinterland, that are indulging and they do not know the full implications of, the conduct, it's a different kettle of fish. But we're talking about creatives, and we know full well that sometimes it is they indulge as a result of performance enhancing need for their work. So why doesn't education make a difference?
Because of pressure, but not necessarily peer pressure. Productive pressure. Now, we have different kinds of youths, creatives, influencers, creatives, creative services. Social media, for example, is asking for 1 video a day or 2 videos a day. There's the consumption of content. In those days, we didn't have Spotify. We didn't have streaming. So, but right now, there are charts, 1 to 10. And over 1 billion songs every week. So these guys are in a constant journey of comparison and competition. So if you don't have a robust mental framework, you will break down. You will try so hard. You will know the truth. But because of the peer pressure in productivity, it happens to you. I've had cases where, and I know them, I won't call names here, top celebrities who were stars 3 years ago, 4 years ago, last year. And then the algorithm changes the leaderboard, and they're down the pecking order. They're on drugs again. It's a major, major crisis. But the reason is that they also don't have self-reflection, and that life is turn by turn. Life is, in this era, you can't live based on comparison. You shouldn't live based on comparison. You shouldn't live based on what algorithms and media says it is. You have to have some introspection. You have to understand there's time and seasons. And you also have to understand that everything happens for your own. So yeah, so it's a real thing.
So I want you to dwell more and even further on what you started off with.
Yeah.
That what my colleague will call inner equilibrium.
Yes.
It looks like there's no strength of character even before. So let's talk about how people should prepare for stardom. Because there's this, I believe, because the lie that is being put out there, it feels like, oh, now you're there, you need some substance or whatever to help you actualize or be more productive. That is the pressure you're talking about. So what can we tell people that are emerging? I've seen Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido, Charlie Poppy, a couple of these guys. I've seen them, you know, holding one or two things. I don't want to call the explicit name, but everybody understands.
Yeah.
So when the younger ones come, they feel that, this is what is actually driving this man. I want you've worked with literally all of these guys, so I want you to debunk some of this assumption. That's the first one. Two, talk to people that are coming up to help them understand whether or not this is really necessary, because when they see these quote-unquote models and how they practice, they feel that this is what is needed for sustenance.
So first of all, there are two prongs. Some people have one hit and are pursuing another hit, and it never happens in their life, and they become drug dependent. It never happens. While others, to stay on top, they feel they need that level of stimulation. That's the word. It's called stimulation. To stimulate their mind, their awareness, to bring out things from abstract places. Thankfully, we have a few people that are clean. We still have Johnny Drill. We have Timmy Dakolo. We have Will Smith. So what is that? We have to also push clean family artists, number one. Number two, for the younger ones, we have to understand that superstarism in that light might not happen to you.
Because, sorry, when you say that, for instance, they are looking at the big four, or I don't know how you guys categorize. They are looking at Wizkid.
Yes.
And I've seen Wizkid smoke on. You're looking at Davido does. They're looking at Burna.
Yeah.
So if you, with the greatest, I love Timmy Dakolo, I love Johnny Drill. They say, well, they are great, but we want, you understand what I'm saying?
That's why we have to find a big five and put those guys, this is the reality. It's even beyond even the inspiration. It's cultural. It makes you look good. It's like a flex. It's like a Rolex or a nice watch. So it's even not about only inspiration. So yes, we have to find artists. We have to curate artists that are global stars that also have values.
Okay. Let's take it to Mr. Babafemi. I know you are, he works with the creative, but for you, you're after anybody who is, who is abusing drug. It's either the person goes, to jail or the person choose rehabilitation. You just have those options for them. So first and foremost, what are you doing with celebrities who smoke even public, or social, whether in their videos, at home? I know of one of the top celebrities. I don't think I've ever seen him not holding anything, literally all the time. So what do you do about those celebrities? That's one question. Two, the kind of atrocities that happen with private jets, what do you do about it? Because I know that Festus Keyamo, the aviation minister, has been fighting that battle around money laundering and all of that. But we also understand that private jet owners also carry out some of this crime in terms of pushing drugs in that sense. So what can you tell us about that as well?
All right, thank you, Jeffrey. Indeed, I would say I agree with virtually everything said right in the studio by the doctor in the studio there. And honestly, the glamorization or glorification of substance abuse by some of our celebrities is a huge challenge. And one of the things we've been trying to address within the purview or within the limits of the power of the agency. First, we deploy the carrot and the stick approach. First, for those who are able to cash with these substances, they're going for it. There is no doubt about that, and there is no sacred cow. There is nobody above the law. If we get to with these substances, you're going for it. A number of them had been arrested and prosecuted and jailed by the court. In our name, we have one in 2022, and just few months ago, and I think one of the Nollywood producers was arrested and he was convicted just recently. I believe he's still in jail at the moment. So that's deploying the stick approach. But again, because we also know the limits of the power of the agency in this regard, we also try to work with this industry That is, some of these people, we engage with some of them at personal level to see how they can be discouraged from doing this thing. And one of the ways we have also done to handle that is partnering with the groupings that, for instance, in the Nollywood, we are very much in touch with the leadership of the Actors Guild of Nigeria. They've been very supportive. They've been working with the agency in this regard. We work with them information at their locations and all of these people. That has been an awesome development at that level. Again, we have also reached out and engaged with the leadership of the Performing Musicians Association of Nigeria, PIMA, with even the chairmanship executive of the agency, Jeremiah, had actually led a delegation to visit their secretariat in Lekki area of Lagos, I think last year. So all of those, even at the level of the agency, for those who are ready to work with us to promote good content, we also have drug-free celebrities club within the agency where we provide that platform for them to be able to meet, to be able to discuss, and we have quite a lot of them who have been of good influence. But for those, and again, we also work with other government agencies who have some level of leverage and responsibility in this regard, especially some of the content that are being thrown out there. We work with them to ensure that we're able to manage some of this. But indeed, I'll say that this is where we need everyone, every Nigerian, every stakeholder to get involved to be able to discourage these celebrities from doing what they are doing, because the content they shun out there, they try to do this to market their content. I mean, to promote their trade, but then they are using that to mislead millions of our young minds, millions of their followers.
My apologies. Before we let you, just the private jet beats, so that my colleague can follow up.
Okay. Question. All right, absolutely. We like I did say, the agency, our operation is 100% intelligence led. There is nowhere we would have sufficient information and to work with that would definitely not, and this has been something that has been, that's an area where we're very much active. That's the aviation sector. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, it's a very good partner with the agency, and we're working closely on that I can tell you. And you would have seen most of the the seizures at the airports there. I mean, in unexpected places. You see some of these things in holy books. You see some of these things in even in the Statue of Mary. You see some of these things in chocolates. You see some of these things in clothes, in a lot of unexpected places. And so that shows you that we're very much strong and active in that sector, and we definitely put our eye on those ones. Don't forget that, like I said, this is an international thing, and we work with our partners all across the world to track some of these movements, and when we have information, definitely you will hear about some of these things when we strike.
Yes, Mr. Babafemi, we would like to see more of the stick approach for the big sniffers, either they're in private jets or they're celebrities. But as we wind down now, let's come to the studio. Dr. Foy, I want you to talk to us about the medical aspect. I've seen some touching stories put out by religious bodies who also provide intervention in the area of rehabilitation. There was a story about a young man who was rehabilitated, and he began a good life.
Yes.
But there was one unfortunate day, when he went back to his old community and he was killed.
Yes.
So sometimes it seems as if even when they're rehabilitated, that lifestyle didn't leave them. They may have left the lifestyle didn't leave them. In 60 seconds, talk to us about that aspect of rehabilitation.
Yeah. Now, let's say that some drugs, like crack, for example, does damaging things to your brain. Crack actually reshapes your brain. And because it is not physical, it's not malaria, it's a mental flow. That's why we advise, don't take drugs. You might start with taking the easier ones, but then it doesn't catch you again. So with rehab, a few people have done well. There's a guy called Tony Rapo who has done a great job. But we need more rehabs. That's number one. Number two, there's a lot of judgment, self-judgment with drug users. And there's a lot of community thing. So if you leave and come back, they'll kill you. They feel you betrayed them. They bond on a certain level of vibe and energy. So we need to do more rehabs. I keep saying that the religious bodies have to now become just past Sundays and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because a lot of people in their bodies are on drugs. A lot. I know them. So Mondays have to be something else. No, they're preaching, and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and same as the mosques. That's number 2. And finally, we need to get influencers online, if people saying that this is not necessary, and show people that your brain is being damaged, your efficiency is being, and you will hurt your family.
Well said, Dr. Foy. Thank you so much. It's quite an impactful, insightful conversation. Mr. Babafemi, just an intel I want to give you before we sign off. Somebody sent this email, say, in FCT in Caro Village, precisely, you can see teenagers openly hawking illicit drugs. Surprisingly, there is police stop and checkpoint, and these nefarious activities go unchallenged. This is within the abattoir access. So I've just given you one intel. Maybe from here you just go straight.
It's actually an area that our command in Abuja raid almost every week.
Okay. So I'm happy you know. So there's morning duty for you today.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right, Femi Babafemi, Director of Media and Advocacy of the NDLEA, joining us from Abuja studio. Also, Tochukwu McFoy, known as Dr. Foy, convener of Energize First, speaker, author, chief storyteller at Elevate Africa, a trained medical doctor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on the program, gentlemen. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll switch gears. I think now to talk politics, of course, playing out in Delta State, the defections, and what PDP is doing to stay afloat. Join us again in just a moment. We'll be right back.